Very warm welcome to everyone into the Sangha Live session today. And as always, really lovely to see the kind and warm messages in the chat. If you'd like to, really feel invited to say hello there, share a little bit about how it is, where you are, as much as you like about where you are, and what's going on for you internally, externally. One of the most delightful parts of this platform is that opportunity to feel a sense of more than ourselves, to extend in this way. So my name's Nathan Glyde, guiding the sessions this week, and we're exploring a theme that I'm calling All We All Need. And this sense that we can support bringing into being, creating, discovering the kinds of qualities that can be a real blessing to our lives, and through the natural impact of interdependence, that we are impacted by others and we impact others, that when we cultivate the kinds of qualities that create well-being in here, so to speak, they naturally extend outwards. But of course, that's something that we can do more intentionally, with more potency. And I want to include a few ideas around that each day, so that we start to have a meditation practice that is something that we do here together, maybe turning away from the world to have a bit of respite, relief, cultivation period, but also going back out into existence and keeping those qualities alive. So in support of that, this practice session here for about an hour, we'll have time for a Dharma reflection. We'll have a good half an hour in the middle, the heart of the practice of just quietly settling in, cultivating the qualities we wish to see. And then there's time for questions, responses. With the questions, if you can write capital letter question at the beginning, and we'll flow from there. At least theoretically, it's possible to come on screen. We didn't have a lot of luck with that yesterday. I'm still happy to try it if it's worked for you in the past, particularly, or if you feel that can keep going. Those of us who were here yesterday, we shared a bit about our intentions. Still really important to keep that alive, right? If we don't make our intentions clear, what it is we wish to see more of in our life, we might end up, defaulting to the defaults. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that again. It's not I made my intention and everything will flow in from that. It's really a question of keeping that alive. Probably all well aware of the fact that we can lose contact with that, become derailed from our good intentions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking a little bit more. By way of reference, yesterday we spoke about cooling down, softening, releasing, allowing, tolerating, quality of patience. Today I want to speak a little bit more about energy, about bringing things up, brightening, all of that kind of quality. And what is perhaps very obvious from that point alone, but hopefully it's becoming more and more obvious the more we do meditation, is that meditation's not one thing. It's not for one thing. So it's actually not one thing for one thing. It's neither of those. It's actually very hard to define what we do in meditation, I think. If you really want to kind of pin it down. For me, I have kind of ongoing definitions. The one I'm kind of enjoying at the moment is that meditation is magic. Or if you prefer, you could say meditation is like magic, in so much that we bring something wholesome into being that wasn't evident. Yeah. Or we help to disappear something that wasn't helping freedom to express. Yeah. And in a way, that's like magic, right? It's that we, blah, 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 and there it is. It's how did that get there? We tuned in, we cultivated, we brought more, whatever, love, joy, sense of interconnection into being by guiding the attention, by developing a way of relating to experience that brings those kinds of qualities into being. Right. So yesterday we spoke a little bit that, the Buddha had this situation where he would say, there is dukkha in existence, and that dukkha depends on the push, the pull, the demanding, the agitation, the friction, the resistance, and all of that, building up a heat of dukkha, and understanding that, well, what if I don't do that? What if I don't be so tight? What if I soften? What if I release? What if I relax? We could say, disappear the qualities that stop freedom from expressing, and or whichever way around you want to see it, is all we actually create the unbinding, the opening, the beautiful qualities there. Both of those define what it means to wake up, awakening together. As Sangha Live at some point, maybe now as well, has that kind of use that phrase about Sangha Live, this coming together, this gathering of Sangha, of community. And I think that speaks to me, personally, individually gathering body, heart, mind together, often kind of disparate, gathering the attentive quality into the present moment, that kind of gathering. I think of it like getting friends together, body, hey, heart, mind. Have you felt each other? Have you known each other? Have you been in this moment together with each other? So that's Sangha. And the live, coming alive. What we bring our attention to brings it to life. And we can be more in this experience, and we can be less. We know that we can really generate presence. Like someone says, can you really pay attention to this? Or listen, do you hear that sound in the background of that piece of music, or that bird in that bush over there? Yeah. How we attend also brings us alive that way. So coming alive together, awakening together. All of which really importantly says, how are you showing up? What are you bringing attention to? How are you applying your energy? Are you applying your energy in ways that deplete you, or deplete the planet, deplete what? Or actually build energy? Interesting thing is that interest sustains attention. But also, what seems most interesting is where the mind goes, right? And that's how we become distracted, pulled apart. Body, mind, heart, pulled apart. And interest is what allows, this is interesting. What's this next breath going to be like? And we start to imply, sustain attention that way. And the mind follows the movement, right? If you're looking out at the sky, the bird flies, ooh, cloud goes, hard to stay open to the subtle thing, which is there is a sky. And it appears to be over there, but it actually starts right here. There's no other thing than all this collection of air and atmosphere. Same thing with our experience is that, wow, there's a being and I'm seeing them this way. But what's really happening, what's the real thing to pay attention is that subtle quality of that way that I'm relating, that atmosphere between us. Do I want something from them? Am I thinking they don't have anything worth paying attention to? And all of that. So meditation is also tuning into that subtler quality, that subtler quality of the relational condition. And I also just want to really emphasize that we can also just be guiding our attention to more subtle things. Like there's some parts of our body that aren't really calling our attention right now. Right? Maybe what would it might be for you? The bottom of your chin, has that gotten much attention yet today? So pay attention to that. It's like, oh, there's loads of sensations there that I can attend to and enjoy. I actually think the earlobes, very, very underrated meditation object. You just hang out with them for a bit. Some interesting parts of the being to be with. And that is all to say, what we pay attention to and how we pay attention can have a really positive influence on how we feel. Lots and lots of ways to have a positive influence on how we feel. There's this famous quality that certainly used to talk about it quite a lot, power poses. That if you're going in to do something that feels a challenge, weirdly enough, the body will start to contribute in its way. If you kind of stand, maybe you can stand with one foot up on a chair and, hand up as if you're a great orator, and slowly, slowly the body starts to feel, hey, I'm important. And that actually feels empowering. And we want to be careful because we don't want to become empowered in a negative way. So I mentioned before, when we do standing meditation, I like to think I am standing for something. I'm standing for equality, for all beings to be recognized as wonderful, beautiful, worthy of our interest. And as we shape our meditation posture, let's contribute to the kinds of qualities that we want to see. Right? A posture of opening, a posture of staying steady. What would it be like to have a posture of I'm interested? So that we can both soften the gaze like we did yesterday, the eyes and around the eyes, but for a sense that would allow my interest to come through. As if we're, say the eyes are the doorway of the soul, that we're brightening the doorway, we're cleaning the doorway, we're presenting the doorway of the soul in ways which show I'm interested. Soft but clear gaze. What would it be to take a posture that says, I'm safe? I'm safe. The belly can soften here. A good friend and Dharma teacher, Yanai Postelnik, told me a story a long, long time ago that he was sleeping, training himself to sleep with his belly exposed, and just like how much effort that took. Not to kind of go into a fetal protective image. Like, oh, it's so comforting to feel like my hands are over my belly. And just recognizing it's really counter evolutionary phrase I like to use, that we've kind of learned and trained I need to be protected, especially if I'm going to go to sleep. And actually practice unguarding. What's that like? Is it a challenge we're interested in? But would that reinforce a deeper layer of a feeling that I'm safe? Because safe is like a feeling. We could say, I'm not safe, or I don't feel safe. Would we like to feel safe? Are we cultivating that? Yeah. Or just a sense of, I'm okay with this. Whatever I have going on in my life, it's not like I'm carrying it. I can actually let the shoulders down, let the hands soften. Breathe, put down our baggage. Yeah. Not putting it down negatively, but just like letting it rest. It's not like I won't necessarily pick this up again. But if it doesn't need picking up, maybe I won't. And perhaps parallel to that is, do you remember the Hollies song? He ain't heavy, He's my brother. I recently was looking into that. What's the origin of that story? And it's kind of a very beautiful, beautiful compassion. It's related to a little girl who was carrying carrying a boy, quite a big boy, and they turned to her and said, "Oh gosh, is it hard? Is it hard to carry this boy?" And she said, "No, he ain't heavy. He's my brother." And just that sense that the way that we perceive the weight, physical weight that we carry, also the emotional weight that we carry, can be this sense of seen in a different way. It may lose the heaviness. Whatever we're doing, however we're practicing, all these kind of versions of power poses that start to encourage and give that sense back. Which reminds me, it's this lovely saying, it's often easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking, sensing, being, than it is to think your way into a new way of acting. And also just a gentle smile of the Buddha in the meditation. If you haven't tried that, really encourage it. You might feel, oh, I'm faking it. I haven't really got a smile. And of course, there is the sense of, fake it till you make it. But if you're going to do that, make it worth faking for, right? But would it be nice just to see, I wonder what would happen, that quality of interest, if I smiled right now? Would it brighten my attention? Would it encourage a sense of appreciation? Would I start to incline myself to recognize, despite everything, I'm still having a positive experience? I can sense I'm alive. I'm still here and lingering with it. And all of that can really help us, brightening. Not because we should, not because it's objectively better, but seeing how does that feel? If we include more, if we engage more, if we bring our interest. So that's as much as you wish to do. I will invite you to do this in the next half an hour. Yeah. So again, finding that posture that supports you, that interests you, that feels like it could be nice to get into. Might be standing for something. Maybe sitting like a frog. Be reclining like a river, life flowing through. And it can also be, of course, walking back and forth. Finding your way into your present known experience. The delights of an in-breath, filling, nourishing the whole body. Maybe it's deeper than we're used to. Seeing where will it go? How deep can we feel the effects of the breath? A little tip, it can often go a lot further than we might understand anatomically. You can suddenly feel it in the legs, right down to the feet, the hands even. If the body doesn't feel like the right place, it could be that we open out to the wider sounds. Really a sense of all of these sounds are appearing in awareness, and awareness is in this being. Big, wide, expanded, whole body, whole big awareness in this being, open to breath or sound, sensation. Noticing where the attention is, non-judgmentally. Who's interested? We're not interested in making an evaluation about who we are, how we are. So, mind is there, heart went there, body feels like this. And just taking a moment with that, allowing quality, and then remembering the energy we have, the opportunity we have to guide attention and shape attention. You feel safe enough to encourage a feeling of safety by letting that belly soften, to be a little less guarded, a little more vulnerable. Notice how it feels to come alive into our vulnerability. Be a bit more exposed. Much as that feels comfortable to have a stretch, not have a strain. Strengthening that muscle of tolerance. Also brightening. Letting that brightness come through the whole being. You can imagine it, feel it, sense it. It's all good. Might explore the most subtle of the power poses to just allow a little smile. Gentle smile, as big and as wide as you want, onto the face. Sitting around breathing and listening is a pretty funny thing to do anyway. A smile wouldn't be completely out of place. If you're practicing this, you might notice that the belly tightens, the smile drops off. And keep using the breath or listening to sounds as our anchor. You feel like you're carrying anything that at this point you'd just like to place beside you, not rejecting, not needing to feel the physical holding. recognizing that this is a moment of great fortune that we can pause and listen, invite the body to relax. What a gift, what a blessing. As we did in the beginning, we have this gift that we can extend the attention to the whole body or open to the sounds within the awareness, within this being, this expansive sensibility. And if you enjoy the gentle smile, softening of the belly, softening of the eyes, and allowing our interest and creativity to come through. I'd like to introduce a meditation technique that might sound quite weird. I've shared it in Sangha Live before. It came to me through Rob Babea, a really great teacher. Just imagine that you're in the middle of a field or something quite expansive, really near the middle, and there's kind of a circular hedgerow around you, quite wide, quite far away. And just feel this in-breath and out-breath flowing through the whole body. Maybe the in-breath flowing up from the bottom of the feet, the out-breath flowing down from the top of the head, back into the earth, into the field. Allowing the in-breath to be really long. And see if you can count within the in-breath all the way up to 10. And then back down on the out-breath. We'll just do 3 breaths like this. Big sense of the field. Sense of the breath coming through the whole of the body. Up to 10, back down. It's quite a slow breath, not a lot of air moving in each moment. By this point, you'll recognize whether you want to continue or not. If you don't, feel free just to go back to your own breathing, listening, softening, smiling. But we're going to extend this a little bit. In the next 3 in-breaths and out-breaths, again the count of 10, but imagine this time you're in this field, hedgerow is quite far away, and each time you call with love, you're going to bring the hedgerow alive with your call. So you've got to have to call it quite loudly internally so that it reaches, is heard in the hedgerow, and the hedgerow will start to blossom with each word. So 360 degrees radiation of light, life, calling out, not shouting. At this point, you can either just rest and breathe, feeling the energy of the breath moving through maybe the whole body. So we can repeat that. And the sense, however you sense it, is calling out with love these numbers and letting them bring life to life, including this body to life, the whole atmosphere, the whole field and beyond. Feel as you wish, you can keep on relaxing and then engaging in ways that support, sustain, brighten the attention for you. So you can repeat these ways. You can also take this as a canvas and be creative, do your own ways. As I said before, you can return to the practice of just breathing, just listening, maybe softening the belly and smiling. Coming into the last minutes of the stillness practice, the quietude practice. Taking a moment to check in with the body, the aliveness of the body, flexibility, the sensitivity. Feeling how it is now after the half hour of practice. Tuning in also with a sense of appreciation, particularly as we open to the heart and recognize how the heart's doing. The impact from the practice, a sense of a capacity to open, to feel a little deeper. More and more appreciation to brighten our attention, guided into the mind, the activity of the mind. Hopefully finding and meeting with the quality of kindness. Soft body, open heart, and a kind mind. Whatever we find, and whatever feels supportive to sustain, bringing it with us across the threshold of the practice. As you move the body, open the eyes, and come back into the Sangha space that we never left. So thank you for this practice exploration. I hope particularly those bits that may or may not have seemed weird were helpful, were supportive, and yeah, it feels important for me in my practice, but also in what I share, of course, that meditation's not seen as, you just need to do this. I have a general sense that sentences that have the word just in, you just need to, usually are denying actually quite how intricate and delicate and sensitive and complex things actually are. But it's in way we speak, yeah, but I understand that. But also kind of like brightens my attention. It's like, oh, I bet there's more to this. I wonder what it is. And so there is always more that we can do, and that might feel like we're then saying we'll never be satisfied, it'll never be enough. It's not quite the same movement. Yeah, there's always more, and this is enough. It can be both. So the same thing, just coming, doing the Sangha Live session, an hour a day, Monday to Friday. Wow, that's a lot. But also, we can do more, right? One of the mores that I like to do, and I'd like to share now, is actually we can convert one daily activity into a meditation. The quality that we can bring in into our experience is quite phenomenal. So let's say probably the most obvious activity, I'm guessing and actually kind of hoping that everybody takes care of their teeth in some way, whether you have the enamel version or you have a cultivated version from your dentist. We're going to have to take care of them once a day. And could that taking care of them become a meditation? So meditation means that there is some intention, there is some sustaining and sustenance of attention, and then there's a period of reflection, like we just had at the end of that meditation. Oh, how was that? What happened? Did it feel good? So for me, another thing that's really important to notice is that, what hindrance is present? Is there greediness, aversiveness? Is there high energy, low energy? Is there a sense of doubt? Oh, I couldn't possibly. Yeah. Common hindrances. If you don't know them, check them out. They're really important teaching. You'll find them under that name, 5 hindrances. And then an intention here. While I'm brushing my teeth, I want to brush my teeth with loving care. I want to brush my teeth with patience. I want to brush my teeth with a bright and enthusiastic attention. That's my intention. Okay, now I'm going to pay attention in that way. Might need a little bit of creativity. How am I going to do that? Okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to, stay big. I'm going to stay soft, whatever it is. Yeah. And then at the end, reflect. How was that? How was that? So meditation, it's always more than one thing. It can be many, many things. And this is another way that we can keep that alive. Okay, so Jane is feeling to come on screen and have a go at this. Other questions are also welcome in the chat if you wish to. And let's see if we can get to work this time. Through. Okay, let's have a go. Okay, Jane, you should... I can hear you, I think.
Can you?
Yeah.
That's great. I can't see any picture, but that doesn't matter at all. Well, it sort of matters. Well, thank you. Great. I've been trying to see if I can fix things to come on screen for a long time. Oh yeah, I had a question yesterday, but it feels very convoluted, and I don't know that I want to go into it today. But I have 2 other things for today. The first is I'm wondering if you can remember you said something right at the end of the meditation about soft body and kind mind. There were 3 things.
Open heart.
So you said open heart, soft body, and kind mind.
Yes.
Oh, that was delightful. Okay.
Okay, nice.
And then the other thing is, it feels a bit funny saying this because I've just got a black screen at the moment.
Okay.
So never mind. Could you just say something about your very variable over time and delightfully intriguing hairstyles?
So I don't really have a particular thing to say about it. I enjoy playing around with what's set before me. That's how I also do my meditation practice. I find what's here. Maybe it's a pain, maybe it's a delight, maybe it's something, and then I just play around with it, trying to see different ways of seeing it and exploring it.
Well,
So, yeah.
I really enjoy it because I listen to a lot of your older recordings as well, and it's just fascinating to see the many different aspects of the way that you can look. And I appreciate your teachings as well, Nathan. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so Joss has a question here. So I loved the magic smiling meditation. And then in the field, I was on a beach. So we imagined being in a field. I was on a beach and the ocean and the cliffs came alive with all the beautiful creatures. This was a blissful connected energy until my heart connected to our human destruction of their habitats and I wept. How to be part of the bliss but aware of the damage that we do. So, I think that's a really good question, Joss, and really appreciate you being aware of the impact that we do have in the world. There is a lot of destruction, there is a lot of pain, and it is something we need to turn towards. So, two aspects. One is let's take the time to really appreciate the nature that we have, right? And the resourcefulness and the beauty and all of that, and that we can smile and we can feel and we can contribute in really beautiful, loving ways. It would be such a shame, right, if we allowed what's called the negativity bias to only allow us to see the harm, the destruction, and the loss, right? There's still a lot of nature out there. There's still a lot to enjoy, and we need to be devoted to its sustenance. We want to keep what we have, right? So that quality in the teachings is called mudita, M-U-D-I-T-A. And it is the appreciation of the joy that is still present. Appreciation. And that's kind of what we've been talking about today. But an additional quality is the compassion, right? So immediately we feel a sense of empathy, we feel a sense of connection, and we can feel a sense of sadness or sympathy for the losses that we're experiencing. But it's also really helpful to understand that in these teachings sorry, I don't need these anymore, a variety of happiness that is available for us is in showing and expressing our compassionate care. Yeah. And because we come into contact with something that feels even vaster, perhaps, than we're used to being with, and this is why these trainings of like, well, let's just be really vast and enjoy, actually encourages us into that sensibility of vastness. If we can sustain that vastness in the way that we act, or act in ways that support a sense of vastness, right, then we can open out our capacity to both serve the harm and the destruction and be really awake to it, but also to be able to contribute to it. So there's this lovely saying from the environmental movement, which is think global, act local. And so an example for me is that yesterday I was walking through a field and kind of like suddenly saw, cigarette butt. It's like, okay, I'll pick that up. Yeah, I'll pick that up. And okay, I could just be, well, it's really just terrible and very sad and all of that. But in a sense, I could also do something. And you can never do nothing. And the same principle actually exists within meditation, right? We can always do something. We can always do something. We are always contributing in some way, you know. So that's kind of how I work within that field, making sure that I actually take the time to train my attention to notice what I might otherwise overlook because of all the feeling and the pressure and everything of like what harm there is or what's wrong in the world and all of that. I don't get a chance to enjoy and appreciate, particularly appreciating, and maybe we'll come onto this later on because it's a really joy for me, is that whenever you come towards a situation of destruction and shame, despair, harmfulness, you will find a lot of good-hearted people and other beings, engaged with the healing, the resolving, the supporting, the lifting up, right? So when we are compassionate actors in the world, which can take real courage for us, and seeing through our incapacity, we will, have to find our way, right, into our experience. Just fix this little issue, so that we're able to act in the world in both ways, with real care, considerateness, and connection, and also with real appreciation, love, and support. And finally, there's just a little reflection here from Natalie. I really enjoyed bringing a smile to the face. The whole body softened during the field image. The body seemed to expand and the edges dissolve. And for me, that really just speaks of awakening. It speaks of the qualities that we want to bring in. So may our meditations be in direct support of what it is we wish to bring into being, what it is it means for us to awaken. And let's carry this with us, converting activities, sustaining attentions, dropping in moments of presence. It's all there. It's all available for us. It's not always going to be easy, but when we can do it, it might be really nice. So take care, wish you well, and see you soon.